I've never had a dream like this before. The green and the blue elements in the dream were a brilliant, beautiful color, something you might see if it was touched up, but nothing I've seen before in the natural. Also, God has not shown me things from heaven before, and while I was not in heaven, I knew later that He was showing me things from there. I woke up from the dream smiling because I knew it was from God. I was in my house. Here's the dream. I was in my house with my husband, and I don't remember having any conversation with him. I just know he stayed in the house the whole time. I found my daughter sitting on a floor wearing a light orange sweater. I knew I was dreaming, and I came up behind her and placed both hands on her shoulders, making sure I could feel her, as I thought she was dreaming the same dream I was. I was aware that I could feel her, and I said, "Let's go outside." So she got up, and we both went outside. The first thing I saw was a brilliant green, soft, fuzzy rope hanging in front of me. My initial thought was, well, this can't be a tree because it's not on the ground. I tugged lightly on it, but was afraid to pull too hard. It appeared that I was on the roof of my house, and as I looked out, I could see things flying around in the distance, and I said, those must be angels. Also, I saw this beautiful, and again, the brilliant colors here, bluish teal bird fish with something like gold sparkles on it. It seemed to be a fish, but had feathers, and the birdfish landed on the ground, and I decided to jump off the roof and pick it up. I floated quickly down and landed with no pain, and this surprised me a little bit. I picked up the birdfish, which is what I'm calling it. It was actually shaped more like a fish than a bird. And I admired the bluish feathers. Then I held the bird up to my face so I could feel the feathers, and they felt just as soft as my cat's fur. And my daughter was also on the ground with me at this point, and she was also interested in the bird. So I held her hand and I jumped back up and landed on the roof again, leaving the bird on the ground. To my immediate left was another roof with people on it. There were also people all over the ground. I looked left again and saw a city, and right in the middle of the city, heading towards us, was a tornado. It was black and was not funnel-shaped, but rather just straight black coming from the sky. We were standing on the roof edge, and I knew it would get bad out, so I grabbed my daughter's hand on my left. Pardon me. To my right, I said, "Jesus, take my hand." He did not appear, and I repeated it, but he still did not appear. Now, as a side note, I've asked this of him before whenever I've been put on the gurney for surgery, and that's happened multiple times where I just said, "Jesus, please take my hand." And I assume he's standing there doing that. So, back to the dream. Since I did not see him, I didn't worry, and I felt this must be what was supposed to happen. My daughter and I sat down to watch on the roof's edge, and as the tornado came our way, in front of it, directed towards us, was an umbrella. I started laughing and said, "See, God is showing us that we are being protected." I opened up the umbrella with one hand, but by the time I was done, I had to struggle with it a little bit. The storm was over, and I also noted the woman on the roof to my left was laughing in relief that she was still okay, so that was the end of the dream. I started praying about this interpretation immediately as I woke up, because I knew it was from God, and most of the interpretation came during my shower this morning. So here is the interpretation. My husband does not want to see what's going on, so he stays in the house. The orange color of my daughter's sweater indicates earth, and she is sitting on the floor in my dream, still attached to the world. She is still attached. Yet the color is light orange, more like pastel, so I am encouraged about this, and she did get up to go out with me, so she is watching. She's even posted some on the blog, and her own dreams have been posted. She's had bridal dreams. It's quite interesting. I believe the sweater indicates that she is protected. So we went outside and watched in the dream. We are watchers of what's going on. We were on the roof, which is set higher up, so our spiritual level is higher than those of the people on the ground. Now, here's something amazing. I have never had heaven elements in my dream. What I first thought was a tree was actually a rope that would pull open a trap door in heaven. The Lord told me this. He explained this to me. This door is similar to an attic or a garage pull-down rope that you might use to open up to get to the top. The color green means flourishing or alive, so this door was coming from a living place, which was heaven. The door is something I've been praying about in real life, this open door to heaven. We have read many messages from God about these open heaven blessings, and I've started to ask him about this, how to do it, how to activate it, or whatever. So I believe in this dream he is showing me that the door is already here, but I'm not working very hard to open it. The fact is, though, I barely have to try, and it will open. It was loose. It felt loose, but I was hesitating. So I'll be praying about that. Now, I did see angels flying in the distance. This did not seem to surprise me much. I'm thinking that these are the angels we are told we will be seeing during the dark times that are coming when the unveiling starts. These were good angels, so my guess is that they were sent to protect and also collect those who will die in the tornado tragedy and other tragedies. Now, the birdfish was awesome. Today, as I was praying about this, the Lord gave me the impression that this bird, due to its coloring, was from heaven. So, you know what? It's a bird of paradise. Isn't he funny? Okay, so it was shaped like a fish, but it flew and landed like a bird. So I believe he is saying there are things there we cannot imagine. It was so soft that in my dream I smiled. The element of touch was certainly there for me because I felt my daughter's shoulders, I felt this bird, and the umbrella in my hand. I remember all these things very vividly, and I asked Jesus to take my hand, but I didn't see or feel him there. Now, this didn't bother me in the dream, and I interpret this to mean that it's not our time to change yet. It's not his time to appear to us yet. However, we are still protected. This happened because my jumping, my floating, and my landing, I wasn't hurt at all. I don't believe we will have our supernatural bodies right away. I believe we do have to go through some rough stuff, and this is why we are required to have faith and keep our focus. But because I wasn't hurt, we are protected right now. We've been told this over and over. We have to believe we are under his wing. We saw the storm coming, but in the Lord's sense of humor, he sends an umbrella during a tornado. I've been through a tornado. I heard one go overhead when I was a little kid, and it was loud as a train. An umbrella isn't going to do anything, but God's funny. He has a sense of humor, and that's what he sent in my dream. And he sent it to me, so he's showing me his protection. And I barely got it open, and I struggled a little bit, possibly due to lack of faith in its protection. God has said that even his strongest warriors would have fear in these coming periods of chaos. So keep that in mind when this stuff starts to happen. If you're afraid, it's okay. We just pray about it anyway. It never did rain in my dream before it ended, by the way. So lastly, the lady on the roof beside me was surprised that she made it through the dream. She too was on a higher spiritual level. And I believe here the Lord wants me to mention a book from Wes Wattenford called Casting Pearls. This is a free PDF of this book that I'm going to attach in a link here on the transcript. And Wes said I could give this out, and I've attached it here. In this book, Wes says that some of the remnant bride will be surprised that they're part of this translation event, the upcoming time when the bride does go through the door. And the lady is one of these people. She was surprised. And I believe these people are being shown dreams right now and visions and words. Yet some of these people do not believe they are part of the remnant bride because they do not believe in the 40 days of harvest period. Also, Wes indicates that some of the bride are clueless about any of this, such as maybe even a homeless person. That person still has a heart for God and loves the Lord, and God might use them soon in the harvest. We just don't know. We can't judge a person's heart. Well, I hope this dream and the interpretation help you. For sure, please go to God about the door to the open heaven and how those blessings can be applied right now.